I am going to invite our next guests, Laura Vizir, Chief Product Officer, TBI Bank, Alexandru, Balaci, CEO, Moca, and Jean-Michel Goncalves, CEO, Oney Bank, România, to speak more about one hot topic now in the financial industry, BNPL solution, buy now, pay later. And because we have only 30 minutes, we are going to dive in, and I'm gonna ask Laura, so how's your BNPL solution going for TBI Bank? Because you are one of the main players in the market for this solution. So how is going in your case?
First of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here and discuss about this, let's say, innovative products at region level. In our case, BNPL started, let's say, shy back in 2017 when we digitized the entire lending flow. And okay, further down the road, we have made variations of it. In this very moment, we are having the short and the long version of BNPL in all the markets that we operate, including the new baby Greece. It works well. I mean, the customers love it, and basically we are present in, and I will not talk right now about the number of merchants that we are serving, and but for us the customer is represented by both the end user and by the merchant all together. So basically what we are trying to do is to create an ecosystem for the end user and for the merchant in order for them to see the benefit of the BNPL solution overall into increased GMV, satisfaction of the customer. But we do it with a very close eye. There was discussed earlier in other keynote speeches and panels, with the closed eyes on profitability, on the model that we are deploying in the market. So basically, for us, BNPL is one of the products that we are putting on an offer in the market, but in the same time, we are looking into all sorts of ways in innovating the retail business in general.
Because you've mentioned, what are these ways of innovating the retail?
Some of them, okay. We are having a close look into giving options and solutions to the merchants outside pure lending part, in terms of information, in terms of data manipulation and everything related to that. But in the same time, we are working actively into some solutions that will be, again, game changers for the markets that we operate into, bringing into open banking, into how we do business and do underwriting for the customers. We are working right now into a very innovative solution on the brokerage side. I know it might sound awkward for a financial institution to offer services to other financial institutions in the market, but in this very moment we are in quite advanced developments for a solution that will basically put leverage on our presence in the markets, but in the same time increase the approval rates for the merchants and give a good pool of customers for the banks in the sector. So these are just some examples.
Thank you so much. I'm going to Jean-Michel now, and I'm asking you, how wide is your BNPL solution on the local market for Oney Bank?
Hello, good afternoon. So thank you for the invitation. So regarding Oney, there is a problem with the mic.
I think it's not open. This one. Yeah.
Hello? Yes, it's working. So concerning Oney on the local market, I will speak about
first at the group level, because we start with a global vision, and we really wanted to become a top leader in the BNPL. So we are not present only in Romania, we are present in 7 countries. Regarding Romania, we have a strong development, let's say, in 3 steps. The first steps is we start with what we call tier 1, tier 2, so we more than 50 millions. And right now we have around between 40 and 50% of the top 50, because we work with Altex, Flanco, Evo Mag, Elephant, so we are with the big one. On the next step that we did after the tier 1, tier 2, we try to develop what we call the multi-channel approach. So we went to the stores, so we start to develop a lot of the stores. Right now we have already 300, and we plan to have 600 stores at the end of the year. Regarding the partners, we will be close to 100 partners live, but the big one. On the third steps in terms of development for us will be to address the long tail, because right now is very low address. The small, with all my respect, but the smaller e-commerce centers, they are still not totally addressed. So we will try to accelerate through the PSP and to address the long tail directly, and to have access to all these partners. But right now we can say that in 1.5 years the development was quite strong for us. Yeah.
And that's very good, because the segment is it's quite interesting, and there's a lot of competition on the segment. That's why I'm going to ask you now, what's your different proposal for the users in your case?
Oh, it's a good question. I think why we interest also this big partner like Altex, like I mentioned all these names. I think first let's see from the customer point of view. We propose a very nice customer journey. If you try the product, you will see it takes less than 1 minute to use this product. I think we have also very aggressive in terms of tarification for the client, which is a good point. Globally also we are addressing, as I told you, multi-channel, so it's a benefit for also the retailers. We have a very simple API. We can also address the big partners, international one who wants to come in all the countries, on various countries, let's say in Europe. So as we are present in various countries, we can implement immediately the API, and it's a good point. For the retailer, of course, also we increase significantly the average basket, because for us we have right now an increase in average of 50% of the average basket. And I forgot to mention also in our product, which is a very strong differentiator, is the fact for the client and for the retailer, is the fact that we address the debit card market. So you don't need to have any credit card or any product, you just need to have a salary card. And with a simple salary card, you can split your payment in less than 1 minute. And if you have already an account, it will take even 20 seconds to do it. So we really focus on the customer experience. The UX is very key for. So I guess this is all this value proposition that attract these partners with who we contract during the last year.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And now, Alexandru, let's talk about Moca, because you've launched Moca last year in Romania, and you have already more than 200 retailers at one point. I think you have more now.
We don't have 200 retailers. We have more than 200 units.
200 units, yes.
Yeah, where we're present.
So, again, what's different from the other players? We see that this segment is so competing, and it's growing.
All about the competition, first, I'd say that I think we're in a place where we're trying more to grow the pie together than slice it. So I don't see, I think our biggest challenge together is to grow awareness and try to, grow adoption rates and get users to try our products rather than traditional banking products. We'll probably be there in 10 years where we're going to try to slice the market. But right now, I don't think we consider each other threats. And on top of this, I would mention that BNPL is such an immature market where everybody's doing things differently. We're not standardized. Everybody is trying to see what the best way to go about it would be. So of course we have very different products between each other here. They're all under this hat BNPL, but they're very different products. And I think somewhere in between 5 and 10 years, the market will, standardize the go-to-market, basically. What we're trying to do at Mocha, we're on the commercial side, we're trying to see which financial products are best suited for the market. So our structure goes from 30 days to 24 months, which is a very wide range, and we're trying everything there. And in terms of user experience, of course, we have a very fast onboarding too, because this is I think the key to having a good BNPL solution. We have an offline solution that works very well. We have a proprietary B2B or merchant app that we use in stores to onboard customers. And we're moving towards having customers onboard themselves, and this way diminishing the friction points in the interactions between the store's employees and customers. So we're trying to look at user experience and the structure of the financial products mainly, and trying to see a bit of everything and have more data in a year or two and decide what products we keep and what we innovate on top of this structure that we have.
Okay, after this 1 year, what challenges do you see on the Romanian market in this very moment?
Well, as I said, I think I started with that actually. Adoption rates. I think in Romania, adoption rates are quite low. Western Europe has went towards maybe 7-8% of the online market so far. In Romania, where I was talking to Jean-Michel earlier, he estimates it at under 1%. I'm not so pessimistic. I think it's somewhere between 1 and 2%. But it's very asymmetrical from my point of view, because wherever we start cooperation with a merchant, we go very fast to high penetrations. So the fact that the market penetration is so low is because merchants aren't aware of the benefits yet, and they're slow to implement. Also, IT is in a place where projects start and you never know when they end and stuff like that. But I would say that I think in the next 3 years we'll have a very accelerated growth, because whenever retailers put us on, we go to penetrations of 7 to 10% really fast, faster than we expected actually. So here for us, after we've entered Romania, it was we weren't expecting such high penetration rates in a single merchant. We were expecting 2 to 3%, maybe 4 was an optimistic case for us. So there we went to 7, 8, even 10% in some months. But then the adoption rate, we were hoping to have a higher adoption rate among retailers, and that's slower than we expected. So. Okay,
so then the question is for all. So that's in order to increase the adoption, and we have a bigger slice of on this pie. It's a problem with the retailers, is the problem with the merchant, or do you need to get to the consumers in order to understand the benefits of BNPL solution?
Maybe you can try to answer. Me, I'm less pessimistic regarding the adoption of the retailers, because what we see, and especially if we accelerate what I call with the long tail on the PSP. We can go very, very fast on what we see, even with the big. Normally, the adoption is quite quick and they are ready to do, because, as we say, in 1.5 years, it's already a lot of customers, even if it's still a big part. I think the other part that could be subject when we compare to the west of Europe, because I agree, in west of Europe, we have around 10% of the total market e-commerce. In Sweden, we have already 25%. I think the biggest blocking point here was the fact that we were in a market with credit cards based on installment, which is not the case in west of Europe. Is more related to revolving. So entering with buy now pay later with such easy solution was a good alternative to credit cards with revolving. And this is a very, let's say, kind of blocking point in Romania. But what I believe here is, and we see based on the profile of our customer, is that the education is growing, the awareness is growing, and the customer will probably try to focus much more on products that are more affordable, less expensive. And I really think that step by step the market will switch, not totally, of course, because we answer to a different needs. Will switch part of the credit card business, will switch a little bit in buy now pay later. The second aspect where I believe, and I still have big hopes, is the fact that this is kind of product that address all industry, and we can go everywhere. So like I say, we start with IT&C, and now we are in healthcare, we have with Lensa, we are also in pharmacy, we are in fashion. So every industry can adopt also this type of product. And that's why I really believe that when this switch from credit card business to buy now pay later, and when all the industry retailers will be ready to integrate, or will integrate all this solution. And they are not against, to be honest. It's true, sometimes IT, planning, and so on. But they are very fan of integrating as a solution and to leverage their sales. So I have very big expectation on the way that the market will grow, and it will be a very strong product around the consumer finance business. Yeah.
I understand, and yeah, that makes sense. Laura, how do you see this point of view in other countries that you have implemented the solutions?
I'll complete to what Jean-Michel said, and I will say that Romania specifically, it is having a low adoption in general of internet, e-shoppers, and but the good news is that it is on a good trend, and we are registering like double digits every year in terms of internet adoption. Now, for BNPL specifically, I would say that yes, credit cards was one of the historically utilized solutions, but that's not embedded finance, because basically you need to have it. You need to have it in your pocket. A bank should have underwritten you before, and in the moment of purchase, you would be just utilizing from one credit limit allocated. Let's be honest, I mean, the share of credit cards is not the highest in our country, one. Second, we are discussing here, and I think that all players in the panel, we are approving customers which banks wouldn't take for a credit card limit allocation. So basically, and I'm speaking now for all three countries that we are present in, meaning Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece. For us, whenever we entered with the solutions in the market, and Greece does not make any exception into that, in the markets that we entered, at the moment when we entered, they were very, very low served in terms of digital experiences or all sorts of digitized journeys on the banking sector. So this being said, I think that we are just touching the tip of the iceberg. Basically, the models and the business models that you can deploy in BNPL are so vast, because right now I think that all three of us, we are discussing about one model, which is web-based finance on a digital journey, obviously. Definitely simplified, way more simplified than the bank's journeys in general, like the underwriting process. But on top of that, there are so many solutions appearing into the market, like for you to be able to check, like even as we know, the population ministry, the evidence of population ministry is opening their databases. This will be a big breakthrough for us and for many other, let's say, players in the market. So there are developments into the markets that we operate. We see it happening, and that's the future, right?
Yeah, that's true. How about the younger generation? Because they don't go for credit cards. They are more into BNPL solutions. So I think Gen Z and millennials are more into that. How is the trend on the Romanian market on this segment of customers?
I don't know.
Alexandru.
Yeah, sure. I think I think it's a double win here with the younger generations. One, because they're the ones driving online commerce, and second, they're driving digitized financial products. So in some way, they're driving this. It's a double win with them, and of course, time will tell. Now, of course, this means also that we have to adapt to their needs and to their buying behaviors and so on. Because traditionally, it's true what Jean-Michel said, that consumer credit cards were being used. Well, actually, installment cards were being used, but they were used for specific categories of products. Very few people were buying fashion with those. They were buying white appliances, and there were certain categories of products. Now we see that this is changing. People are more willing to use financing for a lot of different products that we wouldn't have thought they would 10 years ago. So we also have to keep an eye on the retailers' databases and what's happening there, and we have to work with the retailers to anticipate behaviors and put together the right tools, basically.
So I can also answer to your specific question. Like every product in an emerging product, obviously you have the early adopters. Of course, when we look at our database, and especially online, for instance, I can give you some information. We have more than 70%. Even now, I look this morning, 72% of our customers that have less than 45 years old. So, of course, yes, when you are in an emerging product, you have this kind of people, and it's obvious. What we see is that also when we start the multi-channel, so when we start the store, this part, which is not online, is a bit different because we are in assisted sales. So it's an employee of the retailer that is addressing the product. So we start to have an average age which is a bit bigger, let's say, older. Sorry for the vocabulary. So yeah, we are like every life cycle of product. We start usually on if it's a product based on innovation on technology, which is the case because for me the philosophy of buy now pay later, it's also a customer journey. Again, I repeat, it's very important, even if it's not the only one, but the customer journey is important. So when you are coming with this kind of product, on as he said that we address all the industries, so all the needs. Of course, you start with the early adopters, with the young people, with the digital people. On the step by step, I believe that this will change and will become, like all the life cycle, more mature, and we will have let's say, a representation of the people which will be the same as other type of more mature industry or more mature activity business.
And because we are talking about this potential, and because we face a great journey ahead for this segment, and in the same time, on the other hand, we are facing a potentially economic crisis, how do you see the segment next year? Because the world is troubling and it's hustling. And
ladies first.
and it's for all because you all have data, big data about what's happening in the western parts and in other parts of the world, and what's happening in Romania. So
I can take it, yes. Okay, it's shaky periods, and I think that we all know that we will have some impacts into some indicators that we are utilizing, right? In cost of funds, in the cost of overall the credit. We see all together what's happening with the interest rates by the National Bank of Romania. Our models, and I'm speaking right now for TBI Bank specifically, are strongly, let's say, centered into the direction of a profitable model. So we are looking into monetizing and taking the lowest risk in order for us to have the model behaving well in situations of crisis. And I'll mention two things here. One is the quality of underwriting a customer, because, okay, yes, we are having a very big fintech component, but in the same time we are in the business of finance, so we are looking very closely into how we bring customers in terms of performance of the portfolios. And here, of course, with a touch of fintech, we are looking into the data in a different way. So we are utilizing all sorts of digital available data in order for us to make sure that the customers we bring in are the best ones. In the same time, as we were saying in the very beginning, we are having short and long version of BNPL, which ultimately means the embedded finance. One is zero costs, the well known for installments, but the others are bearing interest, and that ensures the profitability overall of the products. And ultimately, as I was mentioning also in the very beginning, what we are looking into is to monetize on the entire chain, in the sense that by implementing a brokerage model, we just don't waste customers that we will not be able to serve, but to give them to other in financial institutions in the market, and emphasize on the 12,000 merchants that we are having in the portfolio altogether. So basically, that's how we look at it. Yes, I mean, we cannot deny it, like hard times are coming, but and looking into what's happening, as you say, in Western markets, and I think that the customer count, just taking customers in, is not a model anymore. You have to take customers in, and you need to make sure that your business model is sustainable and can pass this type of shaky periods, because world is changing. And let's be honest, I mean, aside from the financial sector, if we look back 1 year ago, I mean, we would be very happy to have the life we had, you know.
yeah, that's true. Jean-Michel?
Yeah, so I fully agree with this explanation, because yeah, we are facing and we will face much more pressure regarding the risk on the acceptance on the profitability. This is for sure. I see the point in two different ways. The first is so from the bank perspective, yeah, we will be, and we are already much more selective. This is for sure, regarding much more about data information we decrease, especially in some segments, the acceptance rate. This is for sure, because we look about profitability. In another hand, regarding the perspective of this market, we can also say that in crisis period, people are probably more selective. They focus more on so they are more educated regarding the financial product, the cost of the product. So we can also expect, this is what we see, because in the last months we probably made the biggest business. They are more focusing on the cost, and buy now, pay later can be, as I'd say before, an alternative to the solution of credit cards and other products that are more expensive for the product. They have also bigger financial needs, because when you are in crisis, you need also more power of purchase and so on. So my conclusion here is that, and also I forget, as we explained from the beginning, that all the industry are still not served, and there is still a big potential to increase the awareness and to increase the retailers that will propose this product. What I believe in conclusion is that, yeah, we will be much more selective, much more focused on the profitability, but I guess that the market will still grow significantly, because he will take some market share from other business. He will also start to come inside of other industry. So it will be, according to me, easily compensated in terms of demands and in terms of requests from the customer. So I'm still positive regarding this product. Globally, regarding consumer finance, I agree. Because we are not also doing only buy now, pay later. We are also selling credit cards. We are selling our products. Of course, we are facing under our budget, are a bit stressed right now. We will face some difficulties probably compared to the previous year. Yeah.
Thank you, Michel. Time is up, but
Yes, I
Alexandru, I want in 20 seconds your opinion on this matter, and that's it.
I'll try to sum up. First of all, I agree with both Laura and Jean-Michel in what regards, I mean, they've approached more the bottom line. And I totally agree with that. I think there is something to discuss about the top line too. And I think there will be, we will see a number of forces at play. One of them, like consumption will drop, I think. But on the other hand, there will be more people who will need financing. So from these two forces, I think the volumes are going to remain stable and even grow, because the online channel will grow with the online channel. But I think that the biggest impact will be at the level of the categories of products. I mean, I don't think people will buy so much on impulse, and they're gonna look much more on value for money. So, and this will happen between retailers and inside retailers. So we're gonna look at categories of products and categories within retailers to see what we can promote. And again, I'm getting back to my previous point, working with retailers and finding the best approaches to what's coming in the future year.
Thank you, guys. It was an interesting and
Thanks a lot.
exciting talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Oh, I have one question, 20 seconds, because we have...
Alexandru had 2 minutes, come on.
Yes.
Sorry, but that's a question for all three of you. I heard several times stating that BNPL is an alternative to credit cards, which is actually not true. BNPL is relying on credit cards. If you wouldn't have the credit cards on the market, BNPL might not exist. Let's be fair, right? Now, question to you. BNPL is about convenience. BNPL is about customer acquisition, whatever you want to do with the clients. How can be more cheaper than free of charge in terms of BNPL from the customer perspective? And what would be the payment instruments that you foresee going forward to sustain the BNPL? Because maybe at some point, credit cards might disappear. Think about open banking. Thank you.
Well, I will try to answer. I think the question is very wide and a bit loaded, I might add. I will just address one point. BNPL is a marketing tool. which retailers love, which credit cards have never been and never will be such a good marketing tool. And I think this is the clearest point that I can make. The other points are debatable, and maybe Laura and Jean-Michel want to take them up, but I don't think this one can be. We are a marketing tool that retailers can use to grow a lot of KPIs within their businesses.
If we can sum it up in 20 seconds, because Jean-Michel has to start the workshop because he has to go to the airport. So, in a nutshell.
Yeah. So it will be complicated because, yeah, as I agree, it's a very wide question. I didn't say that it will replace again the credit card. I will say that it creates first a new market because it addresses different also industry that credit card was not addressing. And again, I repeat, my believing is that when you are a customer, do you really want to go to spend 30 minutes to open a credit cards and to go to all this process with all the administrative part and so on, instead of just coming with your debit cards and being able to do in 1 minute? Okay. Again, I think it can attract also a new customer. On the other point regarding credit card, and you mentioned the fact is BNPL has also a subject of profitability model. I fully agree because it's an acquisition product. The way that we see us in terms of development, you are right. We see it as an acquisition product, but after the idea is really to complete the range of product with long-term financing but always focus on the customer journey, which is very important. On the idea is to come to the retailers with all the type of products that can support his sales. But again, I repeat, credit cards, I don't think it will be totally disappear. This is for sure. But we are kind of complement, I will say, and we will probably take some market share of the credit card, but both can survive. Will be able to stay on the market. This is for sure. Regarding the open banking, you are right. For instance, this is what we are now focusing on in order to improve the quality of data on the information of the customer to perform even better in terms of acceptance, for instance, and also to perform better to address the appropriate product to the customer. So I fully agree that the open banking is the next step for all the consumer industry, not only for credit cards or whatever, is for all industry.
I would just put my take on that. 10 seconds, right?
10 seconds. And that's
Sorry, I didn't respect.
I will cut your mics.
Okay. BNPL is eating from the credit card market just because the credit cards are not there at the checkout and they cannot offer the same experience like lending to the customer at the moment of the checkout. Nobody says that BNPL will forever replace it. Credit card companies or credit card issuers can issue, and they do issue at global level, virtual cards at the checkout. It can be debit card, it can be credit card, it can be with a BNPL attached. That's why I was saying that we are just touching the tip of the iceberg right now. I mean, it's just a web journey financing the customers at the checkout of the merchant. But there are so many possibilities and opportunities to be deployed into the markets that is just, the future has to tell.
Thank you so much. We can all chat during the lunchtime. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
for being
Thank you.
here. I know it's a hot topic.